I'm Satish Rai and I'm here with our local guide in Khajuraho, and his name is Ghanshyam Tiwari and he's the local expert. We are going to make a short documentary on this historical site, and I will be assisted by Ghanshyam in telling the story. First of all, he's going to tell us the history of this place. Ghanshyam, these temples, they were about 85, were made by the Chandela kings.
Yes.
Tell us something about that.
Actually, sir, at that time, because all Chandela's kingdom was very big, and definitely there were about 85 magnificent temples, but right now only 22 temples. So why the Chandelas built so many temples here? So it is considered by so many scholars that when the Chandelas used to come after the battlefield, they used to build the temple for commemoration of that victory by constructed the temple and celebrate to that victory. So that's why here. So 85 temples represent to the 85 victories of the Chandelas.
So I also read a story. There's a few other stories that the temples were built because one of the Chandela princes, she was bathing, and the moon
Yes.
came down. And the story. What is that story?
Actually, sir, it is related from Varanasi. At that time, there was Garhwal dynasty, and Indrajit was the priest of the Garhwal dynasty. In Himavati was the daughter of the priest of the Indrajit. So she was very accomplished in manners and behavior. When she attained the age of 16, she bloomed like a beautiful flower. When she was taking a bath in a lotus-filled pond, Ratital,
Okay.
in summer night, and just was resting at the platform.
Okay.
Then moon was complete at that time, at that night.
Full moon.
Yes, full moon.
Yes.
And definitely he saw the beauty of that girl.
Yes.
And he was very much attracted towards. He descended down on the earth and struck her with Kama's arrow. He took the form of the very charming form of the prince
Yes.
and just appeared before the Himavati. And Himavati was also very much attracted towards,
Yes.
and he kissed, embraced,
Yeah.
and had a sport love with the girl all that night. When the day began and moon god started to depart,
Yes.
Himavati wept and cried because she was worried about the social stigma.
Yes.
Because definitely, naturally, she would be pregnant,
Yes.
and she was highly attached with the moon god.
Yeah.
And moon god was started depart.
Yeah.
So that's why moon god pacified and consoled to Himavati. Fear not, oh my pretty darling.
Yes.
Definitely I am not the common people, I am the moon
Yeah.
god.
Mm.
And your progeny
Yeah.
will be king. He will be a mighty ruler
Of this area.
area. Particular.
Yes.
So, and definitely it would be accepted by the society.
Okay.
So never worried.
Okay.
But this, you will have to leave this place,
Okay.
and you will have to go to
Mm.
the bank of the Karnavati river.
Okay. Which Karnavati?
Karnavati is just 1 kilometer far away from here.
Okay.
So definitely, as per moon god, Himavati left the Varanasi and came here
Yes.
and gave the birth to the child,
Yes.
and that child was Chandravarman.
And he became the
Exactly. And he
Chandra.
was very mighty.
first. Yes.
He was very mighty child because he was the divine child. So that's why when he attained the age of 16, so once he killed 2 lion and the tiger.
Yeah.
So now we can see each and every temple, the emblem of the Chandel dynasty, where the man, the one child fighting with the lion. So that one, look at the top of the temple, you can see there, and each and every temple at the top, we find the emblem. So this
Okay.
was later adopted as an emblem of Chandel dynasty.
Okay, we'll be visiting the temples very shortly.
Yes.
One thing I also read, the name Khajuraho comes from the fact that there were 2 khajur
Exactly,
trees
sir.
on the
Exactly,
each
sir.
side. Yeah. Tell
It is related from Sanskrit language.
Yes.
Kharjur is the Indian date palm tree.
Yes. Okay.
And at that time, that were profusely growing in this region in its prosperous days.
Okay.
So the name was Kharjur Vatika,
Yes.
because here was the gardens of the Indian date palm tree. So that's why we call the Kharjur.
Okay. Right. Let's go and visit some
Exactly.
temples. We are here at the first temple, the start of our visit. And Ghanshyam, tell us a bit about this temple history.
Actually, this temple was built by Yashovarman, and the nickname of the Yashovarman was Lakshman Varman as well. So that's why it is known by his name. And originally, this temple is dedicated to Vishnu, Vaikuntha Vishnu. The statue of Vaikuntha Vishnu, it is kept inside the temple.
And the carvings over here, what does these carvings depict? What sort of carvings are on this particular temple?
So actually, sir, such types of carving we find each and every temples.
Okay.
So what is the concept of the temple? Actually, the form of the temple represent to the form of the human body.
Okay.
So human body is made of 5 elements.
Okay.
So look at that temple. We have only one temple is completely intact in Panchayatana style. So at a lofty platform, we find 5 temples.
Okay.
So the grand temple at the center and each subsidiary shrine of this temple we find at each and every corners.
Okay.
So each temple represent to the 5 specific elements:
So this temple represents which elements?
the water, wind, ether, earth, and fire.
Okay. So each of these temples
Exactly.
represents all 5 elements.
Yes, because as per Hinduism,
Yes.
because the form of the temple represent to form of the human body.
Okay.
So human body as per Hinduism made of 5 elements. So that's why.
We are still at the first temple, which is the Lakshman
Yes.
temple. Uh, we're going to talk a bit of history as we go along, visiting the temples. And as I was talking to Ghanshyam, he told me that in fact this was not the residential or political capital of the Chandelas. So tell us a bit more about this aspect.
Exactly, because Khajuraho was the religious capital of the Chandelas. Because there is no any evidence of the Chandelas, they were live here. Because we have no any residential evidence of the Chandelas here. They never ever live here.
So they
After
built
the battle, they
Yeah.
used to come here for peace, for meditation, and used to build the temple for commemoration of that victory. Yes, they celebrate to victory, so that's why.
So as the Victoria, where Victoria is in one battle, they came and built another temple.
Exactly, because the political capital we
Yes.
call Kalinjar, and
Yeah.
Kalinjar is 100 km far away from here.
Okay, right. There's a very good piece of history. Now we're going to go to another very interesting temple, which is situated. Where's the next temple we're going to go to?
Yes, definitely.
कहाँ पे?
That one is the Kandariya. Sir.
Kandariya.
So now we are going to.
Kandariya temple.
Yes.
Okay, now we are here at the second temple of our tour, and this temple is called Ghanshyam?
Yes.
क्या इसका नाम क्या है?
Kandariya Mahadeva.
And what is the significance of this temple?
Actually, sir, the name of the Kandariya refers to cave because influence from this name is influenced from Sanskrit language. Kandra is the cave.
Okay.
When we look to the temple, the entrance of this temple, so the entrance seems like a cave,
Okay.
dark and small. And the temple, the peak of the temple represent to the peak of the mountain because that beautiful structure of the temple represent to the mountain.
Okay.
And this beautiful architecture, it is originate from Himalaya mountain range. So look at the range of the Himalaya.
Okay.
The small tower,
And
then after big, bigger and biggest. In last, the concept of the Kailas,
Okay.
so abode of the Shiva. So this temple is dedicated to Shiva.
And when was this built? And
That temple is built by Vidyadhar Chandel,
yes.
who was very powerful ruler than other rulers of the Chandelas. So the height of the temple represent to the power of the Chandelas
Yes.
of that time.
And you mentioned something about Gajini. Is anything related to Gajini and this temple?
Exactly because during the Vidyadhar period,
Yes.
the Gajni 2 times came
Mm.
and 2 times defeated by Vidyadhar Chandel.
Okay.
So this temple was built for just
Victory to celebrate the
Yeah,
victory over
exactly.
Gajini.
Gajni.
Okay, we'll talk more about Gajni and the Mughals as far as Khajuraho temples are concerned. Now we're going to go to the next temple. Okay, the third temple, which is called
Jagdamba.
Jagdamba Temple and Ghansham.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about the history behind this temple.
Actually, this temple was built by Duladeo Chandel, who was very powerful, who built 2 temples. First one was the Sun Temple, and second one was Vishnu Temple. This temple originally was the Vishnu Temple, but the image, the statue of Jagdamba, 100, when we go 200 years back, then definitely that statue is found this area where the first castle was built by Chandelas.
Okay, and which king built this temple or these two temples? Any particular?
Gandadev Chandel built.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
have to
who was the
remember.
successor of Dhangadeva.
So they ruled, Chandalas ruled for nearly 100 years, so there will be a lot of kings and we will have to remember a lot of names. Let's go to the twin temple, the first temple built by the king. We are here at the fourth temple. This is the first temple built by Gandeo king, and Ghansham will going to tell us a bit more about the history behind this temple.
And Gandadev built 2 temples. First one is the Sun Temple, second one is the Vishnu Temple. But right now it is known by Chitragupta Temple. But originally it is dedicated to Sun because inside the temple we find the statue of the sun with the Chitragupta. So by taking the importance of the Chitragupta, because Chitragupta is shown with the Surya, the statue of the sun. So that's why it is known by taking that importance. So this temple is known by the Chitragupta. And originally this temple was in Nirandhar style temple because Nirandhar style temple when we go inside, so we didn't find the didn't find the ambulatory path of the Garbhagraha. So that's why this temple is built in Nirandhar style.
Yeah, we don't have time to go
Yeah.
inside, and when you come over here, Ghansham will take you inside and he's going to tell you in detail what's inside. We just have time to show you the temple and give a brief history. And now, Gansham, where are we going to go? Which temple are we going to go now?
The Vishwanath temple.
Been told by Gansham that there are 5 larger temples and 5 smaller temples. So this temple is
Vishwanath temple.
Vishwanath temple.
Yes.
There's so many temples I'm getting to know. I'm confused. And Gansham, tell us a bit about the temple.
Yes.
This temple, who built it and when?
Actually, this temple was built by Duladeo Chandel, who was very spiritual king, and who was the successor of Yashovarman. Yashovarman built the Lakshmana temple, and his successor built the Vishwanath temple.
Yashovarman was the first king?
No. The Chandravarman was first king, who was the progeny of moon god.
And so what's the significance? Did Chandravarman build any temple?
Actually, Varman represent because that child gave birth in waxing moon.
Okay.
So Varman word represent to that things. The moon was waxing.
Waxing का मतलब क्या?
बढ़ता हुआ.
Okay, the increasing moon.
Increasing moon.
So the first Varman, the first king, did not build any temple.
Particular, we have no any historical evidence about that child.
So the first one who built the temple is, what's the relationship between him?
Some evidence we found when we visit to Mahoba. So over there are some temples. So these were built by the king. They were early period of this dynasty.
This came about later.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell us a bit more about the Vishwanath temple.
Yeah, so this temple was built by Duladeo Chandel, and it was also a Panchayatana style temple, but right now some part are missing. But we find very pretty statue. Just in front of the temple, we find very pretty temple we call the Nandi temple, the vehicle of the Shiva.
Okay, Nandi we know. What is the Panchayatana style? What does that mean? What is the meaning of?
Actually, because the temple, the form of the temple represent to form of the human body.
Okay. Oh, once again then. Yes. Okay.
So that's why each and every temple represent two elements.
You remember that?
So at that time, inside there were 2 Shiva Linga inside the temple. First one in emerald and second one in sandstone. But right now only said the Shiva Linga in sandstone Shiva Linga it is kept inside the temple right now. But the emerald Shiva Linga is gone.
Well, obviously after 1,000 years.
Exactly. So when the invaders came here, they looted to Khajuraho. So that's why at that time.
Okay, we'll be talking about that probably tomorrow when we visit the other parts of the temple. Before we end, we're going to have a look at one of the smaller temples, which is just right over here. It's gone.
So we call the Parvati temple.
Yeah, let's go and sort of have a look at the Parvati and we'll talk about that. This is the Parvati temple, one of the 5 smaller temples, and Gansham once again is going to tell us a bit about this temple.
Actually, sir, इसके बारे में जो construct किया गया इस temple को, nobody knows about who built this temple, but it is the small temple, but it is the part of restoration. So look at that. It is restored by British time.
So obviously there's a relationship between
Shiva, because Parvati is the consort of Shiva, so that's why.
So without
just beside
Parvati,
the Shiva temple, the Vishwanath temple, we find the very pretty.
Yeah, so Vishwanath is not complete without Parvati, and like forever is sitting right beside the Vishwanath temple, and they are together once again over here. And we're going to go and have a little look at the Nandi, because without Nandi, Parvati and Shiva is not complete. let's go and have a look over there. Okay, I just wanted to share this experience with you. Before I came over here, I read a lot about Khajuraho like everybody else, but I knew of only one temple which we're going to visit later on, nothing else. When I came over here, I was struck with amazement. How many temples, how beautiful they are, and especially around the garden area, huge garden, very well kept, so beautiful. And I'm sure as soon as you enter the gates over there, anybody who comes over here will be as amazed as I am, and all of their life is in take. So, if you ever come to Khajuraho, ever come to India, you have to come to Khajuraho because I'm saying so. Okay, we are here at the elevated area of Vishwanath temple, which is over there, and as we promised, right behind is Nandi temple. So, Sanji, tell us a bit about the Nandi temple.
Actually, Nandi is the great devotee of Shiva. And in Khajuraho, at that time there were so many temples of the Shiva. So just before the Shiva temple, we find the Nandi. But except this temple, other temple of the Khajuraho, the Nandi is missing. Even one temple, which one is active temple, so we didn't find to Nandi over there.
So this is the only temple which has got Nandi.
Exactly.
Okay, excellent. I mean, as I said before, without Nandi, without Parvati, Shivaji is incomplete. With this, we are going to complete the shooting over here. We will next go to another great site of temples, and we're going to talk to you.
And inside the very big statue of Nandi, it is the monolithic sculpture.
And yeah, we're going to have a look at Nandi. And tomorrow morning, we're going to the other sites, and we'll tell you about history behind more temples. I think we have to cover probably 15 more temples. Okay, for today, thank you, Ganesh. Ganesham, and we'll meet you all. Yes, we are again at one of the temples with Dr. Ghansham Tiwari, and we are about 4 kilometers away from the main set of about 20 odd temples. And this is the single temple, which is called Chaturbhuj, and Ghansham ji will tell us more about this temple.
So we call the Chaturbhuj temple because what is the concept of Chaturbhuj? So Chatur means 4 and Bhuj means arm. So the man idol with 4 arms depicted. So that's why we call the Chaturbhuj temple. And inside very pretty statue of the Hari Hara. It is the combination of the Shiva and Vishnu. So Hari is the Vishnu and Hara is the Shiva. So we call the Hari Hara. So definitely it is the part of the southern group.
Yes, and also this is a unique temple amongst all the temples. What is the uniqueness about this temple?
Actually, we have only one temple. This one is facing west. All temples of the Khajuraho are the facing east, but only one temple, this Chaturbhuj temple, is facing west.
And it also is unique because this temple does not have any erotic images. Is that
yes,
correct?
Exactly.
Yes, and who built this temple?
Actually, nobody particular. We have no any evidence about this temple, that who was built this temple.
Those the other temples we visited. We know they were built by the Chandela dynasty, but this one to date we do not know. Probably some other time when we get to know, we'll tell you. But from here we are going to go to which temple?
Duladeo temple.
We're going to go to the Duladeo temple. now we are at Duladeo temple, which is the second temple in the southern part of Khajuraho group of temples. And once again, I'll ask Dr. Tiwari to tell a bit more about this temple.
Yes, so it is the part of southern group. The second temple we call Duladeo. It is dedicated to Shiva, because we have no any evidence about this temple that who was the founder of this temple. But inside we call the Sahasrar Shivalinga, because at a one Shivalinga we find the 1,000 Shivalinga. So that's why we call Sahasrar.
So
And
you told me that's 11 levels.
yeah, 11 layers
Layers, yes.
at the one Shivalinga, and each and every layer 100 Shivalinga. So that's why.
So it becomes 1,000
Exactly.
Shivalinga. We'll be able to picturize that Shivaling inside?
Yeah.
Okay,
Obviously.
we'll show you what Dr. Tiwari just told us. And anything else about this?
Yeah, actually, when we take the round of the temple, so definitely we find very vast work, very fine work at the about the jewelry, at the sculptures. Just behind the temple, we find so many sculptures.
Do you have any erotic sculptures?
Exactly, so many erotic sculptures.
Over here.
Yes.
So the other one was the only one without any. Yeah, this has got erotic carvings as well.
Definitely.
Okay.
And we find acrobatic posture of the Kama Sutra at this temple.
I must say I've seen the literature of Dr. Tiwari's yoga pose, and he's very acrobatic in his yoga poses as well. He's got a PhD in yoga, and I've just seen his brochure, and I'm amazed at the flexibility and acrobatic nature of his yoga poses. Okay, where are we going to go next? Which temple?
The Eastern group.
Okay, from here we head to the eastern group of temples in beautiful city of Khajuraho. Now I'm here with Dr. Tiwari at a group of temples which is called the Eastern Sites. And here we have got two olden temple. This one is Adinath temple.
Yes. Parshnath and Adinath.
This is Parshnath?
Parshnath.
Parshnath temple, and we'll go to Adinath soon. And Dr. Saab, tell us a bit about this temple.
Actually, this temple is dedicated to Parshnath, and there are 24 Tirthankar, 24 prophet in Jainism, and eastern part totally dedicated to Jain religion. So the Parshnath temple is most magnificent, very beautiful temples, and we find around the temple so many details and very pretty statue.
About the carvings, tell a bit about the carvings.
Exactly. So many statue of the Parshnath temple always displayed in magazine, in Google.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you know who constructed this temples?
Yes. So this temple was also built by Duladeo. Chandel, who built the Vishwanath temple when we visit to Western Grove. So the
Okay.
Vishwanath temple was built by Duladeo, and that one also.
Okay, that's very interesting that Dhangdev Chandel would have been a Hindu
Yes, the Chandela
prince,
king.
Hindu Chandela king, but he also constructed this temple for the Jains. These two temples for the Jain community of India and the world. And over here, before we go to the Adinath temple, there's Dr. Sir, there's a lot of new temples which have come out over here. We're going to have a look at that, and we're going to have a look at those temples. They are in different colors, slightly yellowish color. There's a new one. Tell us about this new constructions.
Yes, so the new construction was developed in just 100 years before, and
Okay.
all construction had been done by using the remains of the old temples or over the old platform. So
Yes.
actually, at that time there were so many Jain temples, but
Yes.
height-wise they were very small, so
Okay.
easily eliminated, easily
Okay.
destroyed.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And something unique about this group of temples is that we can hear religious ceremonies in the background.
Exactly, because
Yes.
here that one is the active temple of Jain religion.
Yes.
So here inside the very big statue of the Shantinath, and Shantinath always counted in 16 number.
Okay, so we can hear that the religious prayers been offered, and people can go and listen to that as well, or just simply enjoy these beautiful surroundings and the beautiful temples. Now we're going to go and have a look at the Adinath temple. We are at this Adinath temple. You can see that beautiful temple. Dr. Azab, बताइए, tell us a bit of history about Adinath temple.
Actually, look at the beautiful temple and just the entrance porch. It's the restored by British time,
Okay.
and just behind the old structure, and we find very pretty carving over this particular at this temple. And Adinath is the first prophet, first Tirthankar in Jainism,
Okay.
and he is also counted in about the 24 incarnation of the Vishnu.
Okay. Now talking about Jain religion, probably a lot of people do not know about when and how Jain religion was formed. Can you tell us briefly how it was formed and how long ago it was formed?
Actually, we have no any actually, it is started from Adinath.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and the last Tirthankar was Mahavira. So definitely at that during the Mahavira time, it was spreaded.
Spread the
Yes.
Jain religion was spread, and I've
Yes.
heard of Mahavira, and I always linked Jain Dharma religion
Yes.
with Mahavira. Do you know how long ago Mahavira lived?
Mahavira was the same era, particular contemporary.
Chandalas?
Yes, no, Buddha.
Okay, right. So now in now I thought so.
Yes.
You'd have been.
So the born time of Mahavira 599 BC.
So that would be probably the same time Buddha was born, and where was we know where Buddha was born, which is now in Nepal,
Yes.
and where was Mahavira born? Do you know?
Mahavira was born in Vaishali.
Vaishali,
Yes.
which is the same
In
area.
Bihar. Yeah.
Yeah, same in Bihar. So
Exactly.
it's, I mean, it's something interesting. I've just learned. You learn new things every day. So Mahavira and Buddha were born in the same era, and the same region, not
Uh,
too far from.
Actually, Mahavira was the Hindu king.
Mahavira was a Hindu king,
Yes,
and then he ended up forming
exactly.
the Jain religion. And so was Buddha. He was a Hindu prince, and
Yes.
then he formed Buddhism. So from that small area of Bihar and Nepal sprang two great religions, and these two temples are dedicated to the Jain religion. Thank you. Where are we going from here?
So now we cover to Vamana and Javari, the northeast group.
Okay, now we're going to go to the notice group. Is it the last one or second last one?
Yeah, so the last one.
Okay, so we're going to end this documentary after our next visit. We are now here at the northeastern part of Khajuraho, and there are two temples we're going to visit. This is the Vimana temple and the history behind this temple. Uh, Dr. Tiwari, do you tell us a bit about it?
Thank you, sir. And that temple is dedicated to Vamana, Vaman incarnation. So when we count to 10th incarnation of Vishnu, so it is counted in fifth number. So that one is the fifth incarnation of Vishnu. So we have no any certain evidence about this temple that who was the founder of this temple. But that temple was constructed somewhere between 1050 to 1075 AD.
So, what is the significance of this temple? We know it is dedicated to
Vaman.
Vamana.
Yeah, the Vaman incarnation.
Vaman.
Incarnation. Vaman is the dwarf incarnation. of
Okay,
Vishnu.
this was one another.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And what is inside? I mean, it looks
Inside
so
the pretty statue of the Vaman.
Vaman statue.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll
the
show you
dwarf
that.
incarnation of Vishnu.
Yeah, but this is another incredible temple. You can see it's huge, and the sculptures are beautiful. And we have seen some restoration work on the other side.
Exactly.
When did that happen? How,
During so this restoration work had been done by ASI, Archaeological Survey of India.
Okay, and once again, this temple is set in a small but pristine garden. It's very peaceful, and hopefully, one of these days, you get the opportunity to come to visit this and many other temples. And if you do, this is the person, Dr. Gansham Tiwari. He will help you, and I'm sure if you've got a lot of people, he's got other friends. Yeah, so and you also want to learn yoga, he's the person. Okay, we'll see you at the last temple.
Thank you, sir.
of Ottawa.
Thank you very much.
Tiwari, we have talked a lot about temple. They are all great and beautiful. But one thing which has struck us and which has really made us unhappy and concerned, and that is the destruction of the statues in many of the temples. Uh, Tell us a bit about it. How does it happen? When did it happen? Why did it happen?
Because at that time, definitely Khajuraho was very florist. So if we visit and look to temples, so that definitely uh, all temples represent to the glory
Yes.
of the Chandelas.
Yes.
But each and every sculptures we find the broken.
Broken. Yes.
So we have no any certain evidence who had been destroyed to temple,
Yes.
to statue.
Because you say it was surrounded by forest now, so it's very difficult to find.
Yes.
But apparently somebody or some group of people found it.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more
So some scholars opine about the Mughals,
about it. Okay.
and some scholars opine that special campaigning had been done by Sikandar Lodi and Muhammad Bangas.
Acha. Okay.
So temples were randomly broken at
Okay.
that time.
Well, this probably makes sense because there is no evidence that other great historical and heritage of India, like Nalanda and other such sites, have been destructed
Yes.
as well. And obviously, there's no reason that the people who built it, the Hindus, would not do it. And we know that there has been foreign invasion in India for last 1,000 years. So it's only people who dislike the Indian heritage, would have done it. It's pity. Shouldn't have been done. It's done. We can only say, hopefully, one of these days, those statues will be restored to its previous pristine condition. And until then, don't let that distraction stop you from coming over here and enjoying those beautiful temples. Must say, as we are here in winter, even in winter, there are hundreds and hundreds of tourists coming over here. They follow all the temples we have been following, and they enjoy it, and they are amazed as we are with the temples. So, yeah, come here.